opinions expressed on this podcast are solely those of the hosts and do not necessarily reflect the views of any other individual or entity. It's Maya time.
Because there's been times where clients do not confirm their appointment and I show up to their house and nobody's home, right? And I'm calling, nobody's answering. Then finally they answer and they're like, oh, I totally forgot. I was running around doing errands. But I'm standing in front of your house,
That's a horror
right?
story. What if it's a snowstorm and because you really care about them, because I mean, you're a
Oh,
good
I've been out in a
driver.
snowstorm before, girl.
See? Oh my God.
Hi, welcome to another episode of MyoInsights. I'm Shireen, the RMT, and
And,
my co-host, my partner in
and,
crime.
and again, I'm here, I'm back, and noisy. Steph, the massage therapist.
So how have you been doing today? Like today I'm noticing that January has actually been extremely busy considering it's the beginning of the
Yeah.
year.
I'm actually very surprised. So today is actually my treatment day. We're off being instructors. I know your
Yes.
schedule, so I know you're probably working too. Yes, I agree with that. Like it's not like the other Januaries where it's very slow.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, money making season doesn't stop.
No, it doesn't ever stop. And when you're a seasoned massage therapist, your schedule like year by year, you'll notice that you don't really have down any like slow time. You're always having a lot
Yes,
of clientele. But today has just been so draining. I think it's just coming back from the break and then just getting back from like being extremely busy and then taking some time off and then just going right back into being extremely busy. So I'm feeling very, very, very drained today. So this is why I want our topic to be about horror stories because today it just feels like a dreadful day.
horror. Yes, I'm actually fearing of horror stories. No, I'm actually feeling a little bit of the horror stories are starting, especially about that new virus thingy. I know it's gonna
Oh
be
yes,
controversial,
yes,
but
yes.
for me, it's a horror story. What do you think about that new virus that's coming up? Coming up, I'm gonna put quotes, air quotes, because I don't want to be
Actually, I
bashed.
don't I don't know too much about the new virus because I actually don't really watch the news much. But my client today had like they were extremely sick on Monday and Tuesday. And the sign like the symptoms that they were describing to me kind of sounded like it was that new virus, but I was just like it could be just anything, right? And
Yeah,
it was funny because the client said they did not want to tell me they were sick because they didn't want me to cancel the appointment.
I
So can you
hate that.
imagine that?
I hate that. You know what? During the COVID time, that actually happened to me, and it was horrible. So that like the same thing. Like she's like, "Oh, I need a massage," and then obviously before we were overreacting with taking those. Hello, we need to do a video call first for screening, COVID screening.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And then on the COVID screening, this patient sounded very, very, very sick. So I said, I think you should not come. Oh, it's no, I just pinched my nose. It's from the mask. And then obviously she came. And then after that, she sent me a long text apologizing. I apologize, but I am actually COVID positive. I just don't believe in that. So I don't know if you're gonna get symptoms, kind of thing. That's horrible.
Right. I wonder if we're gonna have to do screening again for this new virus. Hopefully doesn't make its way across the world like COVID did. But let's get into some more horror stories. Like we were talking last episode about how uh some seasoned massage therapists convince new massage therapists not to do intake
Ugh.
because clients think it's unnecessary or they don't like it. What is your experience like with any clients that have had like rushed you through or insinuated that assessment or intake wasn't necessary? Do you have any
Oh,
good stories
a
about
lot.
that?
A lot, a lot. And they piss me off too.
Yeah, yeah.
I hate how it looks like. I hate how they sound like. I hate the guts, actually. The story goes back when I was still a newbie RMT. It's not more about the intake. Because I did
Mm-hmm.
the intake, I had a way, I figured out a way to make them listen to me. Because I don't end it in an open-ended question, right? Always, it's a yes or no.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want this? Do you want that? Do you understand? Did you not understand? So it's a yes or no. That's my technique. So that's why until this very day, I actually am still using the intake form. The horror story is more of when it's during the treatment. After I did the intake, because they did not listen to the intake, they did not participate to the intake, right?
Mm-hmm.
The problem is they don't believe in what I was offering them. So I did, the proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation. Wow, big word. It's just PNF. So I did
Right?
the I did
Let's
the
stick to PNF.
I can't even spell it. I can't just boast. I'm just gonna say proprioceptive. Anyway, PNF. So I did the PNF with him, and we saw results. Like even this patient said, yeah. But then after that, he stayed in the room sitting like those 1800 photos, like portraits, like
Mm-hmm.
not 1800s, like maybe 1920s, 1910s, those people that just smiles like this, like just no smile, just looks at you like
Yes.
quiet like that, right?
Right.
And freaking he said, you have to listen to me. What you're doing right now is not for massage therapy. You are not doing a good job. You suck, and it's not. Yes, that's how it was. And I'm like, and by the way, when I said the word you suck, that was the verbatim. He really said I sucked at it. I'm like, oh, but you said you felt fine. And didn't
Mm-hmm.
I tell you during the intake that this is gonna happen because of this and that? I did the assessment, did this and that. And then he argued saying, no, that is the reason because you talk too much in the beginning and we
Mm-hmm.
do not need that. We want to be relaxed. We want to do this. We want to do that. And I was so disheartened. The horror, the terror that I experienced because I don't know what I'm supposed to feel, man. Like the word was you suck. And that's a horror story. By the way, if you're a new RMT, that's a horror story. Someone saying that you suck.
Yes.
Like
That
word for
is.
word. Like some people are nice, right? They're gonna be like, I kinda didn't like the technique, blah blah blah. No, but this one is like the massage sucked, you sucked. Excuse you? That I don't know. I don't know. Like that pisses me off so much, but that after that I just feared that everything that I do sucked also. That's a horror story for
Well, at least
info.
they were honest enough to give you their opinion, because some of them just don't say anything and just not see you again. Right? Would you rather that?
I would rather be told, but
Mm-hmm.
maybe in a more professional way, the respect. But again, I understand not all patients are the same. I mean, I'm talking in behalf of the fact that number one, I'm the I'm the therapist, so I should understand more. But as a newbie, because it was literally my second week that happened, right? So I mean,
Mm-hmm.
cut me some slack. Give me some
Yeah.
slack, man. Like I'm not that seasoned yet. If I was a beautiful steak in a pan, it's literally the chef just put me in it. Just literally put me in it. The butter and the rosemary and thyme didn't even mix yet. Like I'm not even medium rare. I'm still
Oh my
frozen. Right?
god.
Right? How about you? Like something like what worst argument would you get about that situation? Like something horrible.
Um, Uh, The horror stories actually happen more on the treatment table itself. In
Oh.
terms of intake, it's probably just them again rushing you through it and thinking that what you're
Mm.
doing is unnecessary. So as soon as they walk in the treatment room, they're automatically unclothing. Right? They're undressing. They're getting their self ready to go on the table without even telling you anything. They're just like, "Well, yeah, I just want relaxation. I'll just get on the table." And it's like, no, that's not what's going to happen. I'm going to
Cut it.
have to
It's
have a
not gonna cut
discussion
it.
with you,
Yeah.
right? And then when you let them know like this is not what's going to happen, that's when you start to see the attitude right away.
And they're
Like,
gonna
why
be
are
like,
you wasting my time
yes, yes, yes.
looking at the clock?
Amen to that.
I want my hour massage, or even I've had them look at the clock because you know how we like when you book an hour massage, you're not getting hands on for an hour, right? A massage appointment is
Yes,
intake,
yes.
treatment, and self care after. So even ending, I remember I ended an appointment. I think it was probably like 5 minutes before the appointment was done. And the client looked up and said, I have 5 more minutes left. Why have you stopped the massage? Right?
You know what? There's a legal way to fix that, actually.
Yeah.
I learned it from a lawyer that I had talked years ago. Because I was saying that I want to make sure, because yes, when I book my patients, it's like, let's say, 10 a.m. to 11, but I have that 15-minute break time, and then they're late. How can I make sure that even if I stick with my policy, they're not gonna get angry with me? So he
Mm-hmm.
said the consent forms, the written one, write it
Oh,
there.
yes.
So
Yes.
the way he made my form, he added there saying that the assessment and treatment and changing time is included in the booked session.
That's a good idea. I like that.
Right,
I like that.
right. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's interesting. But and then I ask him, how about those people who actually expects to have a massage when they, like, for example, they're gonna look at the clock, okay, it's 10:15, and expects to finish at 11:15, right? But then the appointment is originally, let's say, 5 minutes before that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then he said that's why you have the consent. Unless
Right.
you don't have it there, then you really have to honor the time they said. Because in spas, it's like that. I worked in a spa in Sheraton before.
Okay.
Not naming, like, it's not directly under Sheraton. It's like a spa renting with Sheraton. So it's not
Mm-hmm.
Sheraton. I forgot the name. And then this patient was already late and it was
Mm-hmm.
already time to go home, right? And it will, like, let's say me going home is around 12 p.m. because I'm in the
Mm-hmm.
morning shift. He arrived at 11:55 expecting me to stay longer. And by the way,
Wow.
I would understand if there's an accident or something. And you know the reason why? It's because he couldn't wake up because his alarm was not loud enough. We called 3 times, we texted 3 times also. We
Mm-hmm.
did our part. So
Yes.
that's why I was like, no, I'm not gonna stay. The receptionist was begging me, you need to stay. I'm like, no, I'm an independent contractor. I
Yes.
waited for the patient, and it's not my problem. But then, the owner was like, it's a spa. You're supposed to work. Nope, I'm not. Because in the contract, it says I'm from this time to this time,
Exactly.
right? If I had extra time, I would say yes. But that time, I'm getting picked up at downtown Toronto where we know
Mm-hmm.
it's very, very traffic,
Yeah.
right? So I'm like, bro, no, you figure it out. And obviously, after that, I quit spa.
Yeah, because again, like we were saying how owners, like especially if even if it's a small business, sometimes even a larger business, the owners just think the dollar sign, right? Or even yes, client satisfaction, but to what degree? Client satisfaction for me to have to stay another hour and a half, almost 2 hours, to satisfy this client that obviously did not care enough to wake up on time for their appointment,
Yeah,
right?
like it's not my problem. It's your responsibility. That's why I talked to the lawyer. Because when I was building my very first small clinic, I asked Matt, I'm like, hey, I want to be protected because I have a small business and I'm young.
Mm-hmm.
Many people are looking like me, like I'm a kid. I'm literally
Yeah.
like 20 that time. Like they're not
Mm-hmm.
gonna take me seriously, right? So I need something to make, because I'm very kind. To be honest, before being a massage therapist, I'm very kind. I'm like, okay, just do this, do that. But
Of course,
after
yes.
after after maybe like almost a decade of being in this field, no.
No. That I yeah,
I
you
only
get
care
tough.
if I see that you're caring about yourself. It's not a one-way street.
Yes.
Not a one-way street.
I always say the clients have their job to complete in the appointment as well. It's not only for us to provide the massage, provide the appointment for the client. The client has their job to do as well too. Where like for me, I do mobile service, so a lot of my appointments. Like the clients have to book online, right? So they
Yeah.
get an email notification. And I have a rule, even I have it posted there. If you do not confirm your appointment, it will automatically be canceled. Because there's been
Oh,
times, yeah, because there's been times where clients do not confirm their appointment and I show up to their house and nobody's home,
yeah.
right? And I'm calling, nobody's answering. Then finally they answer and they're like, "Oh, I totally forgot. I was running around doing errands. But I'm standing in front of your house,
That's a horror
right?"
story. What if it's a snowstorm and because you really care about them, because I mean, you're a
Oh,
good
I've been out
driver.
in a snowstorm before, girl.
See? Oh my God. That's why I couldn't last mobile. Swear to God. I tried mobile too. For me, having a mobile massage therapy business is the horror story.
It- Tell me about it. It is the horror story. Oh my gosh, it is the horror
I
story.
Oh my God. That's why like when you told me that you've been doing this for like years, I said, "Girl, you need a clinic now. You need to I can't."
I do enjoy it. Like my clients, they're everything to me and they refer me like crazy. Like I always get referrals, which is great. But yes, I've learned how to have that tougher shell now and just
Yes.
not letting anyone walk all over me. They have to understand that they are a part of this appointment as well too. It's not just me coming here
Yeah.
in your home and providing this massage and everything is just great. You just have to, be in your home, comfortable, roll on the table, roll back off into your bed. No, it's not like that. You have to have your input into the massage as well, right? You have to be involved in your appointment. So
And
that was
actually,
mhm,
yeah, I think it's also a CMTO rule, right? It's a College of Massage Therapy of Ontario rule that it's part of the code of ethics that you
right.
should allow the patient to have a say.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
but not walk over you. That's two different
No,
stories.
no, not
Yes.
walking over you, not walking.
Oh my God. Anyway, speaking of mobile,
Hmm.
the only reason why, the one, not only reason, but one of the reasons why I couldn't continue doing that, not because it's exhausting,
Well,
but
it
I'm
is.
scared. What if
Yeah.
I go in there and oh my God, like, how about sexual assault or sexual abuse, man? Like, it happened to me,
Yeah.
unfortunately, but I know why. And I'm gonna tell that story for the late, like, maybe later. But I wanna hear it for the mobile, because for me, that's more like serious.
No, it definitely is scary. For me, what I do is like I have a system where, um, like my partner, anytime, like they know my schedule, right? They don't know the clients I'm going to or where I'm going, but they know my schedule. They know what time I'm going to be at each location. So we have a system where I will let them know that I'm at the location at where I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to be here from this time to this time.
Yeah.
Call me 15 minutes after the time that I'm supposed to end the massage. If you do not get me 15 minutes after, then I tell them just call the police right away.
Yes.
Right? Like that's the security that I give. I remember you telling me about a system I can use to kind of do like a background check
Yes,
on the
it's tribe
clients, which is good.
identity. Yeah, yeah. But
Yeah.
it's a long process. I tried doing it.
Okay.
It's a long. Not a lot of patients love it. So I'm like,
Mm,
ugh, never mind. But I have a home-based practice now. Before, obviously, it's a clinic, so we don't need that. I mean, we should still be. secured. But
Hmm.
in a home-based clinic like this, I'm inviting them to my
Yeah, it's just as scary to invite them in your home.
Oh, I'm very strict.
Yeah.
I check the IDs. I don't print.
Okay.
I actually asked CMTO about this, and
Hmm.
I'm asking like, are we allowed to take a photocopy, right? Because just in case something happens to me, knock on the wood, but just in case something happens
Right.
to
Right.
me, I need they need to know who did it, kind of thing.
Right. Right.
I don't want this energy. I'm not claiming this. Out, out, out. But I literally check the thing, the ID. If you
Right.
are not the insurance person, if you're not this and you don't look like this, I'm not gonna let you in the door.
Yeah. Oh,
I
that's
have a,
good.
yeah, right? And I let them know that it's a home-based clinic and I don't let
Hmm.
them come in if the health history form is complete
Right.
and it's properly filled out. Because
Right.
I hire assistants to help me bill and,
Hmm.
not just bill, but check the intake form. I let them Google Maps,
Okay.
every address. If it's in like in an abandoned thing, like it's a random place, no, not at all. And sometimes, if they are not really filling out the form, we call them. No, you cannot come in.
Right.
Nobody's gonna answer your door because we're not gonna notify. They don't notify me. They
Right.
like for example, I see on my scheduling app, this is not filled out. Basically, I have some assistants, right? And what they do after they check, okay, they didn't fill out the form, they're gonna call. They're gonna keep calling non-stop, calling and calling until they answer or get a text message and literally say, we would let Steph or the therapist know
Hmm.
that you are ready to be met on the door. Even if you're gonna stand there, we have a
Right.
safety protocol that she's not gonna answer you if you do not have the intake form.
Yeah, that's I go through the same rules as well too. If like I said, the client has to participate in their appointment. So if they do not
Yeah,
even want to complete a health history form, but yet they want me to drive to their home to provide a massage, I'm not going to show up if you're not even going to fill out the health history form, right? So I need that information about you,
yeah,
and I thoroughly go through the health history form to make sure that they're the person that they say they are. I always Google the address to see exactly where that is.
yeah, same.
um Google Maps the house, kind of like, okay, what neighbor what neighborhood am I going in today, right?
Yeah, like you
But
don't want
yeah,
to be like
clients.
going there and then like, where's my car?
Right. I think it
Sure
does
what-
work though, the what I put on, like, on the disclaimer, because a lot of clients, like, if they don't actually confirm, they will message me the day of and they're like, Shireen, I totally forgot to confirm. Yes, I
Yeah,
still want the appointment. Please come. Don't cancel my appointment. So the
yeah,
fear is there. Right. And sometimes when it's a new client, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, because sometimes they claim they don't get the email, it goes into their junk, whatever the case is, claiming that this is what it does. So I will just give them like a push text and just say, hey, your appointment is today. You haven't completed anything. If you
yeah.
still want to complete this appointment, you have to do this, right?
Yes.
Or I'm not going to be there.
And remember in our last episode, we were talking about those people saying that being a mobile or sole proprietor
It's not a
person
business.
is not a business, and then they don't know the effort and the amount of time and money we spend to actually be safe. My
Right?
goodness. Holy.
But it's
Oh,
not even only mobile or home business, even being in a clinic setting. Like, there's
oh
so
yes.
many, you know, I think the unsafe things that happen are more of like those clients that insinuate sexual
Ooh,
favors kind of thing, right?
that happened to one of
That
my
is a big thing.
colleagues. It happened to one of my colleagues actually. It was they were working with me in the clinic that I had in North York.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously as a business as the owner of the business, I am going to be responsible of figuring it out, right? Oh my god, Shireen, she called and just cried on the phone. This happened to me. Oh my god. And so she's a very very sweet lady. like
Mm-hmm.
she's conservative but open-minded. So she's not those type that I'm only gonna massage women or something.
Okay.
Which is not a bad thing. Like it's preference, but she's not picky. She knows how to be professional, but again, very conservative. The guy was like, apparently that guy was from this website called bark.com. It's like a freelancing where like you offer your service, someone avails it, but it's not really in a bad way. I think it's just
Mm-hmm.
the people are using it in a bad way. I think
Okay.
that's what's happening, right? So this lady, like, yeah, this colleague of mine got the patient, and they did the intake, everything, and the patient said, "Okay, I want a full body massage." Obviously, the full body entails everything except chest, breast, upper inner thigh, glutes. That's what
Mm-hmm.
the CMTO's version of full body massage, right?
Right.
So
Right.
obviously, this RMT did it that way. My goodness, this is when it went crazy,
Mm-hmm.
because the guy was like, the lady, the therapist was like, "Okay, we're done now. I'm gonna go out." And then before she could go out, she's opening the door. The
Mm-hmm.
guy was like, "Is that's full body?" Yeah. She's like, "Yeah." Like her hands are on the door, but her
Mm-hmm.
head is looking at the patient, right? How
Mm-hmm.
about this? Back. Oh my God. Yeah.
Oh
Sh-
wow.
yes. I'm not gonna
And
even say
that
the
does
word.
happen. It doesn't happen as
Yes.
often as people think. Okay,
Yes.
so those who are trying to become a massage therapist or just new students that graduated,
Yeah.
it does not happen as often as you think, but it does
Yes.
happen.
It does happen.
And I'm sure it probably happens to the male massage therapists as well too. We can only speak on our end as being female massage therapists. I
Yeah.
remember one time, like going back to you, like my feeling safe with going into people's homes. I
Yeah.
remember one time, I think it was my first time getting a random call like this, where it was a male that was calling, had a very, very deep voice. And he was looking for a massage therapist because he wanted to, just use his benefits. And he went on his insurance website, and my name was one of the names that came up that was
Yeah.
within his neighborhood. And
Mm.
I don't know, there was just something about his voice that I just was like, I'm
It's
not
just.
sure if I want to book this person,
Oh my
because
God.
before that, and I was just kind of like growing my mobile business at that time,
Yeah.
and majority of my clients were through referrals. Like I
Yes.
would probably say probably 90% of my clients were through referrals, and he was probably one of the ones that came out of nowhere, and I wasn't sure, and I was so scared, and he literally lived like down the street from me. So that
Oh,
was
it's a
something where I was just
neighbor.
like, "Oh my gosh, he lives down the street. I don't know where I'm going. I've never been here." And he lived in a basement apartment. So when I googled the house, I ended up going to the front door,
You have to be
right?
at the front door.
And
Yeah.
I went to the front door, and I'm knocking on the front door, no one's answering, ringing the doorbell, no one's answering. I didn't see, there was like one car in the driveway. Then
Yeah.
I decided to call back the number, and I'm like, "Hey, I'm here, and you're not, like, no one is answering the door." And then he was late for the appointment. So he was like, "Oh, I'm actually coming down the street now. I'll be there shortly."
Wow.
So then I come, and then he was like, "Actually, it's the side door." And I was like, "The side door?" Like, oh my gosh. So anyways, I went, and he ended up being a really nice guy, actually. We
You
booked.
judged it. You judged the book
I
by
did,
its
yes. I
cover.
judged the book
Yes.
back. He ended up being a really nice guy. He continuously booked with me. We ended up, gaining a great client and therapist relationship in that way. But I never told him that, obviously I had that first impression on him. But it can be scary, right? And there
And
was a
I think,
point.
yeah,
Mhm.
like, sorry to interrupt, but I think
Yeah.
it's not because you judged him. It's because it's the fear that
Yes.
it's,
Yes.
I know that you're already safe. Like, you already have this system, but I think it's the fact that it's always at the back of our heads
Yes.
that
Yes.
something like might happen. Knock on the
Yes.
wood louder,
Yes,
but
knock on the
yeah,
wood. Through, what how is I think it's about 8 years now I've been doing mobile, and Never, knock on wood, never had anyone that, I felt like I was in fear of my life for. But funny enough, there was a point where, because I'm always trying to slow my mobile business down, even though
Yeah.
I'm not complaining. Yes, I'm very happy that I have a busy mobile business, but sometimes I'm just like, I'm tired. I don't want to do this anymore. And there was a time where I decided to transfer into a home business as well.
Oh,
And I
yeah,
converted my basement into a clinic. And at that time, that was when I started getting the most calls about happy endings
I
when I
have
had
an
my home
answer.
business.
I
I
have an answer to that.
I don't know what was happening. I'm like, I think my number was spoofed, or I don't know if my number was being advertised somewhere.
Yeah,
But there was a point where almost every day someone was sending me a message through Google, or actually calling my number, wanting to book a massage, and then asking me if it's a happy ending at the end. And I was like, no, I'm a registered massage therapist.
yeah,
That is not the type of service I provide. And I thought that was so weird because my whole mobile business never had like, not say
yeah.
never, but maybe one.
Yes,
But as
once or
soon as I
twice.
transferred to my home, I was always getting calls like that. So why is that happening? Why was that happening?
It's the branding.
The
It's the
branding.
way
Okay.
you present yourself. Because I was very, I don't really like the idea before because I want a big, because, we have this idea that if we have this big clinic, we're successful. I was once like the people who judge us for our
Mm.
choices, right? Because it seemed like that when you first graduate. Like, you're not successful if you don't have a big ass clinic,
Right, right.
right? So that's why I'm like, okay, I have to have a clinic. But after the downfall of the third business that I had, I'm like, oh, I need, I love what I do. I need to continue. So I made our basement a full scale running clinic.
Hmm.
But what I realized, because I'm so scared with those things, I had to put rules in place first. And
Okay.
we actually have one student, I love her, that did a home-based business with her mother-in-law
Hmm.
in Brampton,
Hmm.
and it's apparently successful.
Hmm.
No fraud, no nothing, clean, just regular. You pay, you go home, done.
We love that. We love
Right?
it.
And the advice that I got from her is you brand it. You have to have a branding. It
Right.
can't be, s- yeah, like you can use your name like Shireen, the RMT, but
Hmm.
your messages has to be clearer,
Right.
like
Okay.
a business would. Like for
Hmm.
example, let's say you're gonna build a commercial clinic or a brick and mortar clinic.
Right.
Say it's let's say Shireen Wellness, RMT.
Hmm.
If the people sees how you design the place and it looks like it's sensual,
Right.
you're really gonna get calls, right? Because you didn't brand yourself properly.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
again, people judge, some, not all, okay? Some
Yeah. Yeah.
people judge you by its cover. So if you
Definitely.
like looking like you're scammy from the outside,
Hmm.
that's the people who's gonna call you too. Scammy people.
Yeah.
Right? So that went into my head, and I said, you know what? I have to brand it. I have to say that it's a home based clinic, but we have a safety protocol. Like my website
Okay.
right now has a safety protocol, the same that I
Right.
explained to you. And that made me so addicted to branding.
Okay.
That's why I'm an advocate even in my YouTube videos for, like, I'm an advocate of branding. I believe that cuts the horror stories to 75%
Hmm.
because you're attracting the people you're supposed to attract,
Right. Yeah.
right? So yeah, I'm a home-based business, but I know what I want.
Right.
I only care about people who cares about their health. So if I would hear a patient asking for girls and wants to book an appointment at 12 a.m., we're closed. And I'm not the one for you. I'm getting the same messages too, but
Yeah. Yeah.
I just lead them back. I just lead
Yeah.
them back to the website. If you
Yeah.
can check our website, we are actually a therapeutic wellness home-based clinic. We are not the right place for you. I just
Right.
say it like that. I just say it like that. And after that, I realized how branding can really eradicate this because you're attracting the people you're supposed to attract.
Yeah. And usually when you correct them, they either apologize, they're very
Or
apologetic,
just ghost you. Yeah, they're like,
or
oh,
just, they're just like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't, it's like, okay, you did not. It said RMT."
yeah.
Like, what did you
But
think that stand for?
yes, but
Like, you
some
know
of
what
them
I
don't
mean?
know. Some of them don't know. Like, I had a not a patient, but a potential caller or a potential patient who said, "Oh, what's RMT? Registered Medical Technician?"
Oh, wow.
Well, I
Wow.
don't, benefit of a doubt. Benefit of a doubt, maybe. Okay, maybe they were new to the country, so I'm
Okay.
like,
Okay.
no, it's registered or registered massage therapist. I had
Yeah.
to highlight it like that. Like I bold it. And you know what? Here's a trick. Don't use your regular mobile phones. When you're starting a business,
Yes. Yes.
I already told you this, switch
Yes.
to VoIP.
Yeah. You told me.
Because VoIP system now, it's voice over IP or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically an app that acts like a phone number, and most of it has an auto text for missed calls, missed texts, and stuff.
Okay.
That helped cut all the horror stories that I had because we don't answer the phone call right away unless
Right.
they leave a voicemail or they leave a specific text. We leave
Right.
we leave the text. We put the text there, and then we let them know like, hey, we screen our clients, we screen our patients,
Yeah.
so do this instead. If not, you won't get an appointment.
Yeah. I'm like that as well. So like usually my clients are lucky if I answer the phone. And another a seasoned massage therapist was telling me, she was saying that she wants to cut out like those conversations with the clients anyways, like that, you know, booking them through like her booking them through them giving a phone call. So she just automatically like everything is just done through her website, right?
Yeah,
Like the website is clear enough that they don't even need to call her. Mind you,
yeah,
she does have her own clinic space, but she said that it worked very well, where she has all the information very clear. The branding is very clear, where she doesn't really have to take so much time out with having conversations with clients that much.
yeah,
So I thought that was very helpful, and I'm trying to do that as well too. So my clients are very lucky if they can get me with a phone call. My answer machine clearly says like you need to either leave me a text message or a voicemail if
yes,
you want to book an appointment, right?
yeah,
So sometimes I will see people calling me all day or calling me all week, and I'm like, did they not get see like have the clear impression that they need
yeah.
to
But you
leave
know,
a message? I'm not going to call you
yeah,
back. you
yeah.
know
But that's why I said VoIPs are nice because they leave the
yes.
message for you and it's in a text form.
Okay, that's good.
So,
That's
and
good. Yeah.
remember, when you call and they don't wait until your voice message, they're not going to hear the message,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So, a simple way to do that if you don't want to do the VoIP thingy, every missed call you have, I just have a
Mhm.
pre-saved text and paste it there.
Yeah, that's what I have. I have
I'm
a
like,
pre-saved
just
text
doing
that
it
I will
right. 'Cause
send.
not
Yeah.
everyone are tech savvy, and I totally
Yes.
understand. But
Yes.
it's
Yes.
good to invest in technology. But a little bit of disclaimer, this episode is not to say that our clients and all the clients we have are bad people. It's
No.
not like that.
It's a
It's
very
just
small
yes,
percentage.
small percentage, and I don't think it's about how bad they are. It's about, like what I'm saying, it's the branding. If
Yeah.
you post yourself a certain way, the people are gonna take it in a certain way as well. For example, when I was teaching in a previous school, I had a student who said, "I'm gonna insert this pillow inside of you." I think
Inside of where?
that's exactly my point. If you're gonna think about it for English language only, there's nothing wrong. And by the way, this student, English is not their first language, it's not their forte. At
Right.
least this student tried. And as a beautiful and caring instructor as I am, I had to tell them, like this patient, this student, change it,
Right.
because I know it's English. I know what you meant, but for a person who stereotypes massage therapy to be a relaxation or sexual in a way,
Mm-hmm.
they're not going to take it in the right way.
Right.
That's
Right.
a form of branding. The way your bedside manners are is
Yes.
branding.
Yes.
If you like to cuss so much and you think that that helps your branding, then you're gonna get people who accepts that as well.
Right.
Cause you
Right.
you but if it's in a cussing way where it's like, I'm fucking telling you, this is how it is. Like they're using the cussing word as
Right.
an adjective to prove their point. Sure. Like I'm just real kind of person. If you can't deal with it, I'm not for you.
Right.
Niche
I,
kind of
I Yeah, with the language, actually, this week I was discussing with the students because we were doing anatomy and we were
yeah.
palpating, and I heard the students say, "Can I touch you?"
Oh, well.
And you already know how I feel about that language. Can I touch you? And I'm like, That's a no no,"
Yeah, but
And then another student was like, "Well, then what do you say to the client?" And I said, "Well, palpation would probably be a better word to use." And then they were like, "Well, because we have to speak to the client in as much layman terms as possible." So they were trying to say, "Well, what if a client doesn't understand what palpate means?" And
yes,
I'm like, well,
explain it.
in a situation where you would be discussing that with the client, it would be for assessment,
Yes.
right? So you would be asking the client to proceed with an assessment, and then you would let them understand that in this assessment, you would be palpating their muscles, their
Yeah.
bones, and so then that word palpate would make sense to them,
Yes.
right? Instead of saying I will be touching your muscles, your bones. But then I just said, you know what? Even if you use the word in that context, it doesn't mean that the client is going to take it in a negative way. But
Yeah.
it does sound a little weird when you say, "Can I touch you?" instead of, "Can
Yes.
I palpate, provide a
Yes.
treatment?" I don't know. I
Yes.
just I just think it's taken in a weird way when I hear that word touch.
It's because it's a double meaning. Like, to be honest with
Yes.
you, it's not really a bad word. Can I
No,
touch
it's
you?
not.
It's not really a bad thing, but it's not appropriate.
No.
That's the exact word. The appropriateness of the word. I usually say it sometimes, because again, English is not my first language. I even say that.
Right.
Can I touch you? Like even sometimes funny, my husband would like, can I touch this? And then, are you not supposed to say that? I'm like, yeah, but so a good way is to correct. Just
Yes,
correct.
yes.
If you made a boo boo, correct it right away rather
Let's
than letting it.
take accountability.
Yes, because that's how professional people should work. So that's what happened
Yes.
actually. Like, oh, I'm just gonna touch here. I mean, test. I'm just gonna test here. I use the
Yes.
word test. I'm just
Okay.
gonna test around this area, okay? It would
Right.
require some light touching testing.
Mm-hmm.
I add of touching testing. Like sometimes I add a word, like let's say for example, accidentally I added the word touch. I would
Mm-hmm.
add the word assessment or testing, so that
Right.
the meaning would change. Ah, so the touch is about testing.
As
So it
exactly.
can be like that too, right? But
Yeah.
I think and you know what another thing that made me think about what you said. It creates habits.
It does. Yes.
If you keep saying, can I touch you? Can I touch you? Can I touch you? Can I touch you? You're always going to say, can I touch you?
Yeah.
So if you would change your verbiage or the way or pick a more appropriate wording, it
Mm-hmm.
would be better. It's going to eradicate the awkwardness, right?
Yeah.
That's why I don't like using the word hard.
Mm.
Hard pressure. But if
Mm-mm.
ever I'm going
I
to use
don't think I've
that,
ever used that.
because I have a colleague before saying, "Oh, hard pressure, hard pressure." I'm like, every time I use that, I use a comparison. I compare it right away. Hard
Mhm.
pressure or deep tissue. Meaning to say we're just gonna go one level lower than the superficial muscle. Oh,
Right.
we don't know what superficial is. And then I just visually show this is superficial, whatever under it is deeper.
Right. Right.
So we're gonna go deeper to that muscle. So I just
Exactly.
change the sentence, change the phrase. There's nothing wrong with it. It's the context might be different depending on the appropriateness of
Yeah.
the word.
Language
So,
is important when we're speaking with clients. And even sometimes those happy ending clients get past the phone, right? Because they kind of disguise themselves on the phone, and then they get into the treatment, just like you were discussing about your colleague that you worked with that had that client at happy
yeah.
ending. I have a story like that too, where I had a client that I was treating for weeks and weeks and weeks, and then all of a sudden he came in and we did our regular treatment. He didn't mention anything about something new that was happening with him until I got to treatment of his legs. Then he was like, "Well, I have a new problem." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Tell me a little bit more about what's going on. Maybe we can incorporate it in the next treatment." And he was like, "Well, I have a problem down here," and pointed
Oh
right to
my God, I'm just gonna roll my eyes. If my
right
eyes
to
have
the
rolled,
private
my
area.
eyes are rolling up to Toronto right now.
So I
So,
just, I was a little open minded because the adductor muscles are in that area. This
yes,
yes, give him benefit of doubt. And like I said, he was coming to the clinic for an MBA, right? So was thinking, he's an okay client. And then I was like, okay, so what is happening there? Like, what is the problem? And I kid you not, he looked at me. Actually, he was kind of stuttering a little bit, and he looked at me and he was like, "Well, I'm having a hard time getting an erection." And honestly, I was new to massage. I was a junior massage therapist at that
yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah.
And I was actually pretty proud of myself of how I handled that situation. So I said to him, massage therapy does not help with, that problem. You would have to go and consult and seek medical help from your doctor
Yes.
to
Refer them
help with
out.
that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But that was
Oh,
my first time ever experiencing that, like, as being a massage therapist. And then after that, I just knew how to speak to clients, or kind of knew when a client was going to go that way. And you
yeah.
just cut it off right away. Another story, like, a lot of male, when they get massages, it's a natural thing that happens.
Yes.
Yes, they will get an erection. There's no problem. I'm not looking at it. It's there, but we're not there to look at it. And I kind of just put a blanket there just so they don't feel uncomfortable and I don't feel uncomfortable either,
Yeah.
right? um but what you will notice is sometimes they will wiggle themselves on the table,
I have a story
right?
for that,
Put
man.
their hands places where their hands should not
Ooh,
be. Your
spicy.
hand should be on your side, right? Like, it should be at the side of the table or the side of your body. It should not be going anywhere else. So, those little subtle cues that you see male clients do as well too. And you just have to pick up on those little nonverbal communication, right? And your job is to, if it's making you feel uncomfortable, you need to do your job and you need to discharge this
Yes.
client, right?
Yes.
Do not go ahead and continue, because it's going to go from those little subtle movements to something even more, because they're saying, well, she's not saying anything about it. Now let me just ask her for that happy ending. Let me tell her she didn't give me a full body massage. She missed my genital areas to massage as
Oh
well too.
God.
Right?
This
I've
horror
only ever had to
story.
discharge one client because of that. Like, fully discharge them and tell them, like, yeah, I'm never coming to your home again
Yeah, because
because of
it's
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
like if it's a first time, not for like I mean I'm not saying that it has to be a first time, right? But
Mhm.
it's not an excuse. Like something
No.
like that happened to me, but it's because of wrong marketing.
Okay.
Because of wrong marketing. And this is why I appreciate the CMTO's rule about discounts.
Mm.
So, there was a time where I hired someone to help me build a new clinic. And apparently, my mistake is not double checking the ads. So the mistake was they put a discount amount on the
Mm-hmm.
thing. And but massage addicts does this, like first visit rates kind of thing.
Right, right.
And so he's like, maybe it's gonna work, right? My mistake is not following CMTO's rule, but I corrected it right away because I got my lesson hard. So there's a guy from like Scarborough-ish said that, oh, the reason why I went here, bus in 2 hours, is because I saw your ad and you were so beautiful. So can you please take off your mask and let me take you out on a date? I mean, that's it's not really like sexual, but that's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
No.
Like in my head, thanks for appreciating God's beauty, but no. But of course,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't say that. I said, "Well, you are here for this visit," and then he apologized. I said, "Okay," but then when we were on the table, before I told him to be on the table, I disclaimered already.
Mm-hmm.
I know that you probably misinterpreted this. Maybe you are joking. Because nothing happened yet. We can't judge clients for that. Maybe they're really joking, They
Yeah,
don't know
yeah,
the rules like we do.
yeah.
So I said that, hey, I do not appreciate these types of jokes. I do not appreciate these types of comments. So when we are going to proceed with this one, if you're gonna continue a behavior like this, I will stop the treatment right away.
Yeah,
And they're
yeah.
like, oh, are you offended? A little bit. But
Mm-hmm.
maybe you're joking. Because I don't wanna say that it's bad. Could I handle it in another way? Maybe. But I'm afraid that I would judge him and then he's gonna say I discriminated him.
Right.
Right? So
Yes.
how else would, like, in that moment, in that scenario, that's what I was thinking. Maybe he was joking. But
Yeah.
when we went to the table, guy said, "You're pregnant, right?" First, I'm offended because I was not. I just have a big, 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 big beer belly. And I was so offended. It's my PCOS, y'all. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, but then I didn't answer. So I said, no, I am not comfortable answering that question. And please remember what we have talked about. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
starting to feel scared, right? I'm like, Steph,
Yeah.
you should have not accepted this client. You should have faked being sick. Like vomit, right? But then again, you need to be professional too. You need to be freaking professional. So I
All the
said,
time. Yeah.
no. I'm not gonna answer that question. Do you have any other questions that's related to your treatment today? Oh no. Then after 5 minutes, when their hands are on the side of the body,
Mm-hmm.
man, guy tried to hold my hands like we were lovers.
Oh
Yeah, like,
wow.
it's a clasp
Oh
like this.
wow.
Oh God.
Wow.
And
Wow.
after that,
Wow.
nah, mm-mm. I said, you know what? I'm
Yeah.
very uncomfortable right now. Please stop.
Yeah.
Stop. Just stop. Just stop. Oh, no, 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 no. I was just itchy. Itchy. I said, it's itchy when it's the first time, but this is the fifth time that you have done that. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done. Was I correct by stopping?
Yes.
Yes, maybe no. Depends on the situation. But I'm already uncomfortable. And I
Mm-hmm.
already warned him so many times. And it's
Yeah.
not like a thing where the hand just touched the other hand. Because I was massaging his hands, right? So
Right.
while it's massage, he interlocks his hands on my hand. And I keep even if I keep stretching it like a pomegranate,
Mhm.
like opening it, he keeps like touching like this.
Oh
I'm
wow.
like, no, you know what? No, stop. And I had to call someone. I said, you know what? Please leave.
Yeah.
Don't even bother
Yeah.
paying me. And then I went back to the marketing. Where did you get this person? Oh,
Yeah.
it was from the Facebook ad. And I checked the ad. It's a fucking discount.
Okay. Yeah. The
Because
discount.
I targeted the wrong
The
audience.
wrong audience. Yeah. That's why I prefer most of my clients to come through a referral.
Yes.
And actually, even on my health history form, that is a question like, how did you hear about me?
Yeah.
Right. And they have to tick off
Yeah.
like, how did they hear about me? And I would say probably 95% of the time they will. say that they heard about me through another client
Yeah.
or through maybe
Yeah.
Instagram or something like
Yeah.
that.
But have faith, because some people, they just don't know. And again, like what I said, the branding, the way you present yourself, the way you put
Yeah.
your words together eradicates all of this. I'm
Yeah.
sure that
Yeah.
a lot of seasoned RMTs have has tips with this, but I kind of don't blame the bad patients also, because again, you probably targeted them in the wrong way.
Exactly.
So
And people don't
yeah,
know a lot of people don't know what registered massage therapy is, right? They just think
yes,
massage is massage. Because, when I always get those questions, is like, well, what do those places do that are all tinted that say massage? And I'm like, they don't do what we do. Like,
yes. So
they,
that's what
they
I'm
do
saying.
something.
See where it's going back? It's branding. Why would you put tinted stuff?
Right? And
Right?
funny enough, when I was a teenager, my first ever job was like my mom's friend owned a bakery, like a Caribbean bakery store,
Yeah.
and like he sold like bread, buns, patties, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And, I was a teenager. I wasn't really thinking what was happening in the unit next door, but it
Yeah.
was a massage parlor next door. So I would always see, these men coming in and out and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But then what made me realize it was a massage parlor is that I used to see the women, like the women that work there, and they would come out in like these little
Like,
skimpy little
right. And they look
outfits.
so hot. Like, those.
Right? And they would run out to try to buy a patty and they'd be like, oh my God, it's such a busy day. I don't have time to eat. Can I just get a patty quickly to go? And then they would like run and I would like watch them through the window going back in there. And I'm like, what are they doing in
Why
that
are they so
building?
hot?
Right? I'm like, why are
Yes.
they
And
dressed like this?
by the way, they drive nice cars.
They do.
They
They
drive
do.
nice cars. I'm not saying this as a degrading thing to our profession, but if I go broke, I might think about it. No, 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 no. I'm joking. I'm joking. But
They made the money. They do the happy ending. Happy endings make
yeah, the
money.
only happy ending you're gonna get from us is the pain relief.
That's it, right?
That's the
Self
happy
care,
ending.
right? Book another appointment. Your happy ending is quality of life. That's what you get.
Yes,
You get
that's
back your
the
quality of
happiest.
life.
That's the happiest ending that you would
That
do.
is that
But
is the happiest ending you can get.
anyway, Shireen, to
Hmm.
conclude this beautiful episode and to avoid any more horror stories, what would you want to share? You know, besides the fact that, again, let's do a recap. So first, to avoid all of these horror stories, including the COVID, the flu stuff, the sexual assault, the verbal, physical abuse stuff, and targeting the wrong people in your business, it needs to be professionalism, right? You need to fix how you say things, brand
Yes.
yourself properly,
Yes.
know what you want, do market research. And by the way, Facebook ads is not a bad thing. There's a lot of
Hmm.
ways to market. It doesn't need to always be a discount, right?
Hmm.
So these things are what we have talked about in this podcast. Just to finalize everything, is there anything else that our listeners, the Mayo Insiders, need to know and to understand?
I know it's gonna be cliche. We're probably gonna talk about this through every episode, but it's that client care and that clear communication, that
Yes,
professional communication that
yes,
is going to kind of like you know make it clear as to what type of business you're providing, right? What type of
yes,
treat service you're providing, right? You have to have that client care and that professional communication with the person that you're speaking with. As soon as they say hello, can I have I'm looking to book a massage, right away that professionalism and that communication
yes,
needs to come in.
absolutely. And that's what I think what all of the new RMTs or the aspiring RMTs or massage therapists, not only in Ontario, because I'm going to assume that this podcast is going to be reaching other massage therapists. We're manifesting,
Yes, we
right?
are.
Manifesting.
Amen.
Amen to that. It's the clear communication. doesn't matter where you work, mobile home, working for another clinic or a spa, it doesn't have to be yours, or it can be yours. It's your demeanor, it's yourself, it's the way you
Yeah.
project, it's the way you dress. Look at me
Yes.
right now. I look like a tired woman because I am, but I'm wearing scrubs, I'm wearing appropriate attire. I don't have to wear scrubs, but for me,
Yes.
I'm comfortable. I look professional this way. And
Yes.
because that's my branding,
Yep.
that's what I project to people, because I believe
Yes.
this is what you're gonna expect. You're not gonna imagine a person who wears a sexy outfit, full
Mm-mm.
blast makeup on. I'm not hating
No.
those people who has makeup, but I'm saying that some people, however, have a different outlook with things. When you wear
Yes.
makeup, when you wear this and that, it's not because you're wearing them and you're not supposed to. They just have a weird mentality. And
Yeah.
why change a thing you can't change?
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So it's not about, it's really professionalism.
That's it.
Professionalism,
Yeah.
right? Oh my God. Now the horror stories are out there.
We still have
I
lots more.
yes, there's a lot more, but I believe we seasoned them enough. If again,
Yes.
going back to the steak ideology, this is the medium rare of our episode for today. Huh?
Yay.
Right? So again, my name is Steph, the massage therapist.
Shireen
Shereen.
the RMT.
And you can follow us. You can check down in the screen or up above where you can follow us, where you can watch our other YouTube videos, Instagram, and
Yes.
so on and so forth. We are going to build a new Facebook group also for the Mayo Insiders. If you
Mm-hmm.
need help for mobile and home based practices, we are there for the Facebook group. And see you next time.
See you. Bye.
Bye.